Well, hello there. Sheriff Joe Baggs here, taking over your Sunday morning. It is early. It is the first Sunday sans football, and we are real sad about it. But this is, of course, Tuna and the Sheriff, and I am just the Sheriff. So let's bring in Tuna. What's up, dude?
What's up, dog? Yeah, you said it. It's sad without football. I hate this.
It's just a whole bag of bummers, man. What the hell is this about? Like, I like literally on Sundays
So
without football, I just kind of like wander around my house, like, well, what now? Like, what?
I had to do chores this morning. I had to clean. I had to
Mm,
find a way to be productive, and there's no football on. Like it's stupid. Like I
just
agree.
flipping
I
through
agree.
channels, like, where is it? Where?
Put on replays of like 2020 just to watch stuff. But yeah,
It's real funny.
hello. What's
I
up,
do
man?
that
Good to
though,
see
man.
you.
I do that. What's up, man? So, hey, obviously, we have a lot to talk about since the last time we chatted. We didn't get any of our Super Bowl picks. I would have been wrong. I want to let you know that I would have picked KC in a much closer game, all that stuff.
Same.
But before we get into all of what we have missed and where there's some definite conversations we had to have involving the Rams and trade
Hmm.
rumors and stuff right now, wanted to hit something real quick, and that is that the sister of Omar Spates has reached out to the internet asking for some help. There is a picture of her and Omar, and I believe just another family member. I don't have the image in my head right now. That she is looking to have on a canvas. She is looking for some kind of artist to help her out get this on a canvas. I can certainly help with this, but it is not my specialty. And I know that the Rams fan base has some absolutely unbelievable artists in there. So I am trying to find you to help Omar Spates' sister out find this canvas. I retweeted it. It's on my Twitter page at Sheriff Joe Bags. If you want to try to find her or anything like that. I don't know if you have any suggestions, man, of anybody I can like kind of maybe float that over to, but I want to help her out. It's a picture of them on the field. He's in full gear and stuff like that. She's looking to get the canvas.
Looking just to get it like blown up on a canvas, like probably super big, or are they looking to get it like
Well, she was asking if anybody.
artistically done on a canvas?
Yeah, she was asking if any knew like painters or anything like that. So let me see.
Oh, I can definitely reach out to Corn Doggy. Corn Doggy is obviously an artist, like digital artist, but
Okay,
artists all talk together. I'll see if he knows anybody in that realm.
this is the one.
That's such a nice photo. Is
It
that
is.
from Philly? Is that in Philly?
Yeah, it looks like it's in Philly.
Philly. Okay.
Um, yeah, because it's at the snow and all that stuff.
At the top of my dome, I can't think of anybody, but definitely if anybody's
Uh,
watching this, yeah, share it. We'll clip this and
yeah,
reel it. Try to tag some folks. Yeah, Rambling, you know what to do. Rams fan base is amazing at if they work together,
yeah,
they're going to accomplish something in that same day. So,
yeah.
um,
That's
yeah,
typically my thought
you heard the
process, man.
sheriff.
When somebody asks for some help like that, my first thought is like, oh, let's share it. Let's figure this out, man. The Rams fans, I feel like is such like I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna say something to you right now that I've not said in a public forum to anybody. I think the term Ramley is mad corny. All right. But it is also
Yeah,
real. And I understand it. Like it is like a very like a group thing. Like
it
it
is,
is the thing though, man. Like
but it's
that
our
everybody
corn.
sticks with. It is. That's kind of why I still say it. Like I just think it's so corny, man. But whatever. Like
I mean, that's a lot of fan bases though. Like, you can't
yeah,
all get lucky. Like Bills Mafia is kind of dope, just because the
that
word
is dope.
mafia is
Yeah.
fine.
Hmm.
I mean, the Packers are one of the biggest, most legendary fan bases, and what are they?
Yeah.
Cheeseheads. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
it's not intimidating or scary, but it's based in history. Ramley
True.
is like it. A lot of people have just grown onto it. It's grown onto me. When I first heard it, I was like, "Well, I'm not using
Yeah.
that word," but now I'm constantly using it in like group chats and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, what have I become? But
Yeah.
no, it's the power in the word. Ramley, they get stuff done, man. I hope that our
Yeah.
fan base can be as together as like I said, the Bills. Like the Bills go out of their way and donate. Like one of the biggest donation groups in the
Yeah.
sports fan bases, and it's incredible. So
Well, I
yeah,
was just thinking about like the Rams specifically with even as most recent as these fires and how everybody kind of comes together for that, and then going out to Arizona and stuff like that, and then years back, to just more stuff, just to, like I don't know, it's always seemed to be a thing, but I want to hammer on that too hard. We know that this fan base is absolutely awesome, and we kind of everybody kind of helps each other out and stuff like that. It's really cool to see. But there's been a lot that's happened, man, since we've last chatted. It was after we had lost, right? That we had chatted.
Yeah, and then it was going to week 1 of the Super Bowl, and between work and health and
Mm-hmm.
sickness, because
Yeah.
as you can hope, maybe I'm always this nasally, but I feel definitely nasally. I know you mentioned you would have picked the Chiefs. I am
Mm-hmm.
in the rule. I give Mahomes the Tom Brady rule. I just don't bet against him, like
Yeah.
until proven otherwise. And then it was proven staunchly otherwise. Oh
Sure.
my God. What did you think when we were watching that? I know that we're like everyone's talked about the Super Bowl a million
Yeah.
times, but as a Rams fan, like what were you thinking watching that?
I was really surprised by what appeared to be, to me, and again, it's hard. It's Super Bowl. It's a day where we're kind of just chilling, having beers, eating food, and stuff like that. Like I wasn't like really in the game, but everything that I saw looked like just more effort out of Philadelphia. Like Kansas City just kind of seemed like they were going to be able to come into this game and okay, we're the Chiefs. We got Patrick Mahomes, Reed, man. Like, who's going to stop us? And like, yeah, that team, they're extremely talented too. Like, you don't get to a Super Bowl on accident. You don't fall into that situation. I know that they were having blowouts and stuff in the playoffs and all that, but you don't get there on accident. So I was just really surprised by what seemed like a bad game plan, lack of effort by the Chiefs.
Was really like, especially when you're walking into a moment that's that historic of you have the chance to be one of the literally the greatest team ever. Like if you win a three-peat, I don't care about any GOAT discussion, any Tom Brady comparisons, any of this. You are the greatest team ever because you won 3 championships in a row. Look at what Michael Jordan, how he's looked in basketball, being able to do things like that. Incredible. And I don't know. I didn't watch enough of the tape to know exactly what they were doing, but it looked like one team was full of D1 players playing against like a high school team on the D line versus O line. And then there was, I think it was in the first half, there was consecutive plays that Mahomes got sacked on that Travis Kelce just one, he whiffed the block. And the second one looked like he gave zero effort, even on a tight end screen. And it looked like he aged 10 years since the championship round.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my first thought was like, damn, was he out drinking like the night before? Because he looked slow. Like he looked bad.
What it looked slow. He just kind of didn't look on at all. His hair looked like he was a extra in the movie Brink, Disney or something. So, I don't know, man. It's just a bad day for the Chiefs all around. And I think it sucks too that like I think as Rams fans, I think we all agree that like how close we got against the Philadelphia Eagles and how bad they beat up Washington and how bad they beat up KC. That game ended and it was like, dude, that could have been us. That we were 15 yards away from this being us celebrating right now. Like, damn it, man. And I think we all feel that way. And if there's a Rams fan that doesn't feel that way, then because I did have one comment that was like, well, our red zone offense hasn't been that good all year, so who knows? And it's like, no, literally, Higbee was open though. Like it's like the touchdown was there, man. So I don't know.
He was open, and then I don't to counter that comment. I don't subscribe to but the season. I don't care about the season.
No,
like you can tell, like once playoffs start, like a different engine turns on for every team, every championship caliber team. Look at the Eagles. The Eagles look like the greatest team to ever exist. They were very, very, very good through the season, but they just hit another level. The Rams, although the defense played great on the back half of the year, they hit another level come playoffs. Like getting 16 sacks in 2 games or something like that.
Absolutely
like,
incredible, man.
That's stupid. Nobody does that. Like the Eagles did that through their entire playoff run, and the Rams did that in 2 games. I mean, just based on the matchups, if you can get past Philly, you're playing a rookie quarterback in Daniels, and you're playing a Chiefs team that clearly is struggling against strong defensive lines.
Yep.
It's hard not to fall into that what could have been. And then that leads into the bullshit that's going on with this offseason with Kupp and Stafford, and it's
I'll tell you this, man, because let's go ahead and just dive into it, man. The topic is there. Everybody kind of knows it, and we are, in fairness, some of the last people to have a conversation about this. I talked about it on my most recent episode of Ram Showcase, Cooper Kupp. There has been more details that have come out about Matthew Stafford since I have done that episode, and I do have another segment kind of written out with some thoughts. I will share some of those here, but I think ultimately where I'm at is I obviously do not want to see Cooper Kupp or Matthew Stafford leave. It doesn't feel like it's something impossible for the Rams to do. And I know that Rams fans are like, we're not getting rid of Matthew Stafford. That's stupid. And it's like, well, hold on a second, though. That's not impossible. Like, it does feel like a thing that the Rams would do. But my only request in all of this, if we're going to lose Cooper Kupp, we're going to lose Matthew Stafford, we're going to have this weird changeover where we try to find the next quarterback, rip this freaking Band-Aid off and let's stop messing with our Rams hearts over here, man, and like just let us go into this offseason after a very heartbreaking loss against the Philadelphia Eagles in a situation where, again, we feel like we could have been Super Bowl champions. Now you're telling us two of our favorite players are potentially going to go. If we're going to do it, man, just freaking do it and get this over with so we can start talking about who we're getting in next. Or let's just figure it out and know that these guys are going to be here next year, and let's just gear up to kick some ass in 2025 because we really are this freaking close, man. We've got some money to spend so we can get better. I feel good about this this next season, but if we want to change stuff now, just I guess let's just rip that Band-Aid off, man. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm glad that we weren't reactionary and just jumped into this like last week as it's coming out. I think the first thing I'm going to say is all the major media outlets that are running with Stafford wants, crazy buku money. I have on decent authority that he doesn't want anything like that we're probably thinking. I think he wants to be fairly compensated, which he should. He's a championship winning quarterback and it's like perennial quarterback. Like a top echelon quarterback should be compensated with guaranteed money. Make it happen, Rams. I think Kupp probably ruined their plans a little bit by trying to keep it under the radar like they typically do by coming out and saying things. Probably affects what they can get back trade-wise. But in regards to Stafford and the media stuff, I'm sorry. The Rams do not care what Kelly Stafford puts out there. That's her own free will. They do not care. From a football standpoint, it just doesn't impact them. That's not how they operate. They could care less about any of that. Maybe if it was like the 50th person on the roster, maybe, but not your all-pro quarterback or should be all-pro quarterback.
Yeah.
Let's look at the alternative. Let's say there's a universe where this does happen, where Stafford's out the door. I think it goes against what McVay and Snead try to do on a yearly basis, which is try to win championships. They don't walk into any year like, oh yeah, we're going to rebuild.
Yep.
Even in our rebuild years, they've tried to win. So the alternative is you need either a top 5 pick to get a quarterback in this draft that you really want, or you're going to have a huge trade haul for a ready to go championship quarterback right now, which we've talked about some, but I don't think any of them are moving. I mean, unless surprisingly someone like Trevor Lawrence is out the door. I mean, you're not going to get a Shador Sanders, a Cam Ward. Arch Manning isn't until the next season. Like, what's the alternative then? I'll ask you, if Stafford goes, like, how do you win a Super Bowl with the Rams at quarterback? Like, what do you do?
I mean, it's difficult. If I were to guess, just purely a guess, and this is not taking into consideration those comments that we're hearing about like the Giants and 3 overall and all that stuff, because I don't think that we could pull off 3 overall from the Giants. Even if we threw in a package of Stafford and Kupp and other picks, I don't think that they're giving up 3.
Would be hilarious, but
yeah. But if they were to get Stafford and Kupp, I think that the best argument against them giving up 3 is if they were to get Stafford and Kupp, that puts them into a more of a conversation of being able to compete this year. And you would want the number 3 pick if you're going into a season where you think you can compete. So I don't think they would give that up. Anyway, forgot my point. Went on a sidebar.
Alternatives. And then the first one he picked was the Giants, which is a lot out there of them saying, "Hey, this could work." No, what are we talking about? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Like I don't know.
That was my point. Is if the Rams do get rid of Stafford, I fully would anticipate, just based on the comments we hear from Sean McVay, I wouldn't want to see it, but I would predict it, that Jimmy Garoppolo would be our quarterback this next season. And I don't think that's a Super Bowl winning play, but for some reason, Sean McVay seems to really like this guy.
And man, I love McVay, and I am number 1 McVay apologist, but that just doesn't make any sense. For the sake of cap and looking 2-3 years out, I get it. I hear you. I get it. That's not how you win a Super Bowl. this
True.
season. Like for a team that was just doing fuck them picks and potentially putting themselves in
Yeah.
cap hell just 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You're worried about cap now to do
Right
this,
there. We're right there. We could do it again.
which like I think there's about 40 million left in cap space. You're going to spend a good chunk of that renewing Stafford's contract.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one else. Like, what are you gonna pay Alaric? Which you can do a bunch of. They can do a bunch of stuff to move things around to free up some space.
Yeah.
And I think worst case is you bring in some rookies on the offensive side that could bring some firepower. This core clearly can win games. Like as long as you just don't go 1-4 or 1-5 to start the season,
Exactly.
you can rely on some rookies on the offensive side, especially at receiver. Receiver rookies are so pro ready.
Yep.
Like Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers, just to name a few. What's his name? Brian Thomas down in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Like if one of those guys was on the Rams this past season, like dude, they're putting up fireworks.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't think they're being huge sellers. Like I don't know. I'm getting worked up.
And
Get worked up.
I guess myself too, man. And like I know that Cooper Kupp went public and said that the Rams had, mentioned that they were looking to trade him. I am one of those people. I don't think it's impossible that something still gets worked out and he stays. I don't. I don't. I'm not locked in that he's gone.
What if he saved his spot on the Rams by doing that? What if it was a play by his agent? Yeah. Because of how close to the vest he is with the Rams. Like he knows exactly how they operate. Like he's been there long enough. He's one of the like cornerstones of the franchise, and he knows. All right, cool. Let me go out and publicly say and win the voice of public opinion.
Yeah.
Now they lose their trade event. Like it's not a secret. Like everyone knows that potentially they're going to end up cutting him anyways.
Yep.
So there goes his trade value.
And also, you get that information where Kupp literally posts in his tweet, I always thought it would begin and end in LA. And then 2 days later, you have Kelly Stafford coming out saying he wants to win and you're getting rid of his favorite guy. Like maybe we do go find another, I can fall in love with another city and all this stuff. That all seems like them telling the team, hey, don't do this. Don't do this. Keep us together. That's what it feels like to me.
I think for what you're paying for Kupp, I see where the conversations do come in, and there is a lot of logic of he's over 30. They do this all the time. Like they try to, if it's inevitable, make it immediate, or however the phrase goes, what's need. But the alternatives, like, and then in the same breath, people are saying bring in Devontae Adams. Like, okay, so we're gonna trade out one over 30 guy for another over 30 guy who may who may be able to still keep going, but he's one hamstring or ankle twist away from. Now we're in a worse version of Cooper Kupp, which I'll say that because of just it's a new player. Not that he's worse talent wise, but it's just a whole different variable. I think third and Kupp is a real thing still. Like let him get his reps. Hopefully he stays a little bit healthy. Bringing in a rookie or two on the offensive side to be that deep threat and keep it rolling. Like I don't subscribe to Kupp needing to go.
I don't either. And it is funny to me to hear Rams fans be excited for the prospect of trading Matthew Stafford, getting rid of Cooper Kupp, and then on a 1-year little quick banger doing Aaron Rodgers, and then, Devontae Adams also wants to play on the West Coast. Why would we get rid of Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp? Guys we know work for us, guys who know can win a Super Bowl with us. We've seen it happen before. For Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, two guys who may work with us. Rodgers might play 1 more year, might play 2 more years. Devontae Adams, I don't think is as good as Cooper Kupp today. So why would we downgrade like that? It just doesn't make any sense. And you see fans that are like excited about the prospect of that. I just don't get it.
No, I've seen enough of Rodgers this year where like you can see the talent. He's not the same guy. And right there, the culture shift sounds terrible. That's not a McVay move. You're completely. I like Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's as bad as people make him out in the media, but it's just a different leadership like approach that you're going to introduce to a gelling group. Like that's not a McVay move. It doesn't make sense. And like, I'd
be very surprised about it. And like, I'll be honest though, man, there is like I don't want to see Stafford, Cup leave and all this stuff, but there is just this little tiny portion of me that loves change and loves to get excited about something. So like, so there is
Yeah.
like a portion of me that if because I don't have a say, I have no control. All I get to do is talk about it on on social media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If Stafford's gone though, my brain immediately turns into this is the first time that Sean McVay is actively seeking a quarterback, and that's badass. That's awesome. Who is he going to go for? And I think that'd
Yeah.
be a really fun storyline to chase this summertime. Although I'm fine if we don't get that, and we get that in a couple of years.
No, I'm fine with that. Let's play the
Kind of exactly what I was saying here. Only reason
oh,
I would be excited is because I trust McVay. Only reason. Single T said it here.
I do trust McVay, and I like the approach of trying to get ahead of the quarterback situation before all the rest of the dominoes fall, which is the draft, which is other trades, other people's contracts, because we're not in the benefit of having the most trade like capital right now.
True.
We have some picks, but we don't have like a big name player that's unhappy, a la Myles Garrett, where you can send him off to get a quarterback. What I like, let's say Stafford stays, because there's two realities: he stays or he goes.
Yeah.
If he stays, my wish list is either I haven't seen enough Jackson Dart. Who's that guy out of Syracuse? Kyle McCord. I like Kyle McCord. I think he needs a year or so to develop, but I love the tool set that he brings. He looks really good. If they're going to bring in a free agent, I want to see what a McVay offense looks like, not with an overhaul, but with a wrinkle, a small little wrinkle of RPO, because we haven't had a mobile quarterback. Go get a guy like Justin Fields, spend a few million to have him develop behind Stafford for another year, let him learn some tools, because he hasn't had a good OC. He hasn't had a good leader to follow behind. Like, I love Russell, but might not be his cup of tea. Everyone loves Stafford. Go learn behind Stafford. And then in the worst case, where if Stafford's age has him be injured right before playoffs, like that small wrinkle, that twist, that curveball of an RPO and a mobile quarterback under McVay, dude, that's scary as hell. I think that would work phenomenally.
I mean, I like it, man, but and we also have to look at because what I hate about this is that this conversation might be completely irrelevant. Like, it might just be Stafford, he's not mobile, whatever. But if you look at the guys that McVay has historically really, really liked, they're either just really just smart football guys who just see the field different, like a Stafford, or they're mobile guys, your Perkins, your Wolfords, stuff like that, that guys who can kind of move around a little bit more, give you that running option there. I mean, those guys were terrible quarterbacks, and not to talk trash about them, but like when we had to see them play, I didn't have a lot of confidence we were going to do a lot of cool stuff. So, but the nicknames though, the Wolf and Percules, dude, were top tier. But Percules is one of my favorite nicknames I've ever given.
I've never heard that.
Well, you didn't watch enough Rams Showcase then, Tuna.
Oh my god.
Percules was the back.
Wolfman was always good. I love Wolford.
Yeah.
Stafford.
What do you think about this question here? If Stafford and Cup leave, is this still a Super Bowl or bust year next season? Because we feel that way. I feel like all Rams fans feel that way.
It depends on the quarterback situation. I think if you're gonna bank, like if you just trade away Stafford without they're gonna have a plan. But if that plan falls through and you're relying on someone like a Jimmy Garoppolo, it's not fair to say he can't take you to a Super Bowl, because he has done that before with a loaded roster.
But he's not. I think
it's really depends on what they do at quarterback. Are you riding the wave of a hot rookie quarterback that comes in and just figures it out because there's not enough tape on him? Can he bring in somebody and just rush for 4,000 yards in the season? I don't know. It relies more on Stafford than does Cup. You can replace a wide receiver 10 times over than you can a quarterback. There's only about
1,000%
15 good quarterbacks in the league. There's probably double that wide receivers in the league. So, yeah.
I absolutely agree. And we also have to consider that, Stafford's doing the no looks. McVay's not coaching him to do that. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing that himself. You can't just have a rookie come in and complete that pass to Cup that pulls the safety down in the Super Bowl. that keeps that drive alive and stuff like that. Like a rookie maybe gets the same exact play call, maybe sees the same exact situation, but doesn't pull that safety the same way. Maybe that ball gets tipped away. Like I think Stafford is so much better than people realize that like when he leaves, we will take a dip at the quarterback position no matter what. And that's when I think people will like look back and be like, holy crap, we didn't realize how good we had it. Stafford's amazing. And that's unfortunate, but we'll see.
I'm so Super Bowl is open. Whatever move they do or do not make, I trust them. Same. I think we're not debating like if we trust the organization. We trust them. Like
because this
we're
defense next year has potential to be one of the best defenses in like potentially the best defense we've ever had if we can nail down the outside. If it's Akello and D Will coming back, then that's awesome. If we get better out on the outside, like I think we can, then that's awesome. I think our secondary it makes me a little bit nervous, but I really like our safeties and I like our corners. I like our depth at corner for sure. Yeah. But the defense is why I feel good, man. Straight up.
They approach every year that they want to go win a Super Bowl. I think McVay's energy is way too. I think he's way too competitive to sit there and say, let's aim for 8 wins this year, guys, and pat ourselves on the back. He's too aggressive for that. And then Snead, him and they're both lockstep. I don't know how crazy they went with Wolford. Yeah, it's sometimes game plans are great, but sometimes players just can't execute, or vice versa. I don't know which one that was with Wolford, but it just didn't work out. I like him. He's a great writer too. Like I read his stuff. Like he actually puts out blogs and pretty good. He put out something recently where he's talking about what the schedule is like for a quarterback, or at least a backup quarterback during a Super Bowl day. And it was like really insightful. Like it was kind of cool to see.
That's really sick, actually. I've always really liked Wolford. I just whenever we needed him to play, it made me real nervous. That's all.
Would you take Wolford or Brett Rippon? Which one?
Oh, I will take myself over Rippon, and I'm not a good quarterback. I'll take anybody over Rippon, man. Are you kidding me? I was about to launch into it again.
That was a long weekend. That was a very long weekend.
How many yards was it? Was it like 31 passing yards he had?
I feel like he had at one point he had like more fumbles than completions. It felt like it was a dark day.
That was so bad, dude. That was the day I was out. I was like, okay, I don't care. Nope, over it.
But I do want to reemphasize a point you made that I don't know. I don't know if it's because he doesn't talk to the media like that or whatever. He got that moniker Stat Pat for all his years in Detroit. The dude is so underrated. Like he's your favorite quarterback's favorite quarterback that's still playing. He is legitimately the last active playing gunslinger that we have in the league.
Oh, Stafford? Sorry,
Stafford.
I missed who you were talking about.
Stafford, yeah. And I don't think a lot of Rams fans either aren't really paying attention to the things that he does that are intangibles in the game. Dude's fucking phenomenal. Like you got to really appreciate what Matthew Stafford does. And it's Matthew, not Matt, like a lot of ESPN talking heads keep saying. Hell, call him John before you call him Matt. Like it's should put some respect on his name. Like the guy is so incredible at quarterback. Like I'm glazing so hard right now, but dude's been my favorite quarterback like since he came into the league. And like I'm so happy that he's on the Rams. Like the things that he does, people don't appreciate. Like from even a leadership perspective, like he raises all boats. It's
kind of interesting too because I was never super high on Stafford, especially in his early years in Detroit, and that was because of Calvin Johnson. In my brain, because like there was too many times where he's throwing it into like quadruple coverage and still scoring touchdowns, and it was like, is he good or does he just have the greatest receiver ever? And then
both. You trust him?
The second that Johnson left, it wasn't that Matthew Stafford got better, but he had to now not rely on that. So he was going to like Golden Tate was like his clear-cut top target. And he had to like scan the field and stuff. And I thought he took such a jump in my brain. Like I know he didn't really get better. He just now didn't have that guy, but it was so unbelievable to watch, man. So that was like the year that I was like, okay, Stafford's my guy, like hell yeah. And then when he came over to the Rams, man, I was fired up about it right away. I was like, all right, cool, man. Like, because I was a little bit, I was like, okay, Goff is fine, but Goff is not that guy. He's not gonna. He's really good, but he's not great, you know. And I kind of had settled into that. So when we made that move, I was fired up about it.
Yeah, it's so we still celebrate that day in this household of the day that trade was made.
Oh yeah, it's a big day in Rams, man. Like in Rams history. Nice.
Yeah, it's a little like I said, we're dealing with fighting off a cold still. It's been a few days, but I think that's my biggest point right now. Like starting this offseason, I got an article coming out this week, kind of encapsulating what Stafford brings to the Rams, like why he has to stay. But then the other one is, I really, I don't know. I want Justin Fields on this team. I don't know what it is. I think he hasn't gotten a fair shake so far. I know it's completely out of left field, and no one is really talking about it. But I think he has the capability to be very good in this league, and I would love to see what a player like him can do under McVay. Like that's how much I trust McVay. Like he can turn any player's career around.
Would you want him to be backup, or you want to see him start?
I want him as a backup. If they brought him in to start, I would trust McVay. Like obviously, like I think it'd be a very exciting offense because the dude is a freak athlete. He's got a cannon of an arm. He just has to work on accuracy and decision making. And what are two things that McVay can help with scheme and coaching is accuracy, getting guys wide open, and a scheme that emphasizes a player's strengths. So
it is so cool to be able to see McVay be able to dice some stuff up, man, where it's like everybody in the world knows that they want to go to Puka Nacua, and somehow you're still not within 10 yards of him because we schemed up a play. That's unbelievable, man. Like everybody knows who you want to throw the ball to. You still can't even get close to him. Love that.
I know. They got so many question marks, though, who they're going to put around Puka Nacua. They got some guys. I don't know. It's exciting. It's exciting, though. Witt is the next man up. I see him being pretty good. I'm tempered expectations. Like he does a lot of the same things as Puka Nacua, just not as explosive as Puka. But the fact that he's willing to be that guy, like he showed in preseason and even in early in the season where that motion where they put the wide receiver blocking through the C gap, the fact he's willing to do that and can do it effectively, he's going to have a spot in this team. Xavier Smith too. I think Xavier fits into that role that Tutu was supposed to be doing. Yeah. Xavier has a little bit more. He's got a little bit more muscle mass. Like he's a little like stockier than him. So I think he can fight off some defenders a little bit more. I think our young talent needs to get a little bit more respect, but I'm a little more tempered on Whittington than most people. What do you think?
I certainly am. I wouldn't put him to quite the level of the Nelson Spruce, Lance McCutcheon kind of hype because I do think he's better than that. But I do think we need to listen to the Rams. But the Rams tell us all we need to know by snap percentages and where people are playing and what they're doing. If they're dressed out, it's like Joe Noteboom. People are like, are we going to re-sign Joe Noteboom? It's like, dude, he was a healthy scratch against Philly. Probably not. Yeah. Like, I mean, come on here. Like, let's take our context clues here. And when I look at Jordan Whittington, I take the context clues of he ended the season mostly just special teams. So does that mean his ability to help out on offense, it doesn't exist? Absolutely not. We did see that he did have those makings, but it did also look like he's got some work to do still. He's not to that level yet of just like he's not elite yet. Can he be elite? Absolutely. Anybody can be elite. He made it to the NFL. If he listens to his coaches and does the right stuff, yeah, he can absolutely get there. But I think that we saw him be on offense a lot when Puka and Cooper were not out there. And then the second those guys were back, relegated to special teams. I think that tells you what you need to know. DeMarcus was still out there. Tutu was still out there. We're running all of our white tight ends. So I think that's telling, man. I think they told us what we need to know about it.
Yeah,
but he played a Robert Woods role for sure. And I do think that's a closer comp than Cup or Nacua, as I think Robert Woods.
Robert Woods is a good comp. You got to look at catch radius too, like his target radius and overall speed. Like I'm not a person who sits there like I don't look at 40 times.
Yeah.
That's a good like verifier of what you see on the film. Like Tutu Atwell, you know he's fast on film. Xavier Smith, you know he's fast on film, and then you look at the 40 times, like, yep, that matches up. Dude's just fast at everything he does.
Yeah.
I'll counter and say the fact that Xavier from rookie year to year 2 got an increased role. And then once he was on punt return, made a big play, like stamped it, like, okay, cool, he's going to be our returner. And then I don't know, like I don't think us as fans value the progression that our young guys can make in the offseason.
Oh, absolutely.
That we're sitting here like, oh, we need to go get this free agent, go outside. Okay, what do we have at home that's staying for sure? Whittington and Xavier Smith, like there was an unknown in someone like Antonio Brown. Like he ended up being a little interesting on the back end of his career. But that guy was like special teams, if I remember correctly. And then all of a sudden, like this quote unquote undersized guy that was super fast and good at special teams. Oh, he worked his ass off and now he's an all pro. Like we may have someone there on this roster already that we'll be able to see.
Absolutely. And yeah, Joe Kim, is that how you pronounce this, right?
I think so. I've never spoken to him.
Or Joaquin, maybe?
Yeah.
I was going to say Joaquin, but yeah, either way. It says he likes that, like, that McVay doesn't really use rookies a lot. And I've talked about this a lot on Ram Showcase that, you know, a lot of our safeties, a lot of rookies just don't get to play. We've seen that kind of change a little bit more recently as we've become a younger team without those veteran starters. Like we were drafting Jared Verse and he's like, yeah, why would we not start him? He is the best guy, you know? So yeah, I think that that is definitely part of it, but I talk about it all the time too, that like, I know for myself at my own job, I'm better than I was a year ago. So why can't we let these guys do it? You know what I mean? Like people get better, people can also get worse. In fairness, people can, you know, can start to suck over time, but yeah, like let him, now he's got a full year of experience being in the NFL and being in like meeting rooms and film rooms and talking to Cooper Kupp and asking Matthew Stafford questions and stuff like that. Like maybe he's right now taking all this information in, he's working on stuff and he's going to come in training camp looking like our best wide receiver. Maybe it's like, holy crap, Puka and Jordan are the two now, man. Like they saw it. We didn't need Cooper Kupp anymore because of these guys, you know, like who knows? So I think we just need to see it shake out.
Yeah. It's do you have a wish list though? Like not a wish list. Like you have a bold take on who you think makes the biggest leap next season? I have 2 that come to mind that I think can like not even be Pro Bowlers, but be like top 5 of their position next season.
I'm gonna let you answer first while I kind of think for a second.
Cam Kinchins. I think he has the ability to be a top 5 player
this is the first
next
name
season.
that came to my head.
Yeah, there's Cam. And then maybe not top 5. But I think he can be a lot better than people have, or even no one's talking about him whatsoever. Trey Tomlinson, like he flashed a lot of great ability at TCU. He's he's a bulldog. Like for him being undersized, he's willing to put his nose in there, and I think he could be a great nickel corner, like slot corner. I think he could be phenomenal for us on this defense. He's coming off injury, so we'll see what he can do.
There's 2 guys coming off of injuries at corner that have historically not had as much love from Rams fans that I think could be very big contributors this year. And those 2 names are Trey Tomlinson and Darian Kendrick. And I know a lot of people don't love DK. I'm a big supporter of DK. I think he's awesome, man. But
I'm not gonna lie, I fucking forgot he was on the roster.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. I forgot he got injured in preseason. I totally forgot about that.
DK is kind of my guy, man. I'm a fan. I like his play style. So he and Tomlinson are guys that I'm excited to see when it comes down to like camp time and preseason and stuff. But as far as a guy who I think takes just a big leap, man, I'm going to go ahead and say on our offensive line that we see Bo Limmer at center spot, man. I think that he takes in that experience that he was able to gather in his first season, being a 6th round pick from Arkansas, being a starter all season, earning that job. Jonah Jackson coming back from injury, coming back in and being like, no, get the Rook back in here, man. And then him coming back in, killing it all year, obviously having a rookie mistake here and there. But I think that for myself, the brain and the experience of Bo Limmer in what he was able to see this year and the games we were in, you talk about Philadelphia and stuff like that, that I think he takes that and takes himself to the next level coming into year 2.
What I want to see, I honestly don't care who's on the offensive line, the interior. Like, I trust them to figure out, like, sorting it out. I think what I want to see, let's see, is this going to be his second year? Yeah, this would be Ryan Wendell's second year. It was his first year as the offensive line coach. I think apart from there being a lot of injuries and
This should
movement,
be year 3, coming into year 3.
is it? Because let me
I
see.
think so.
I think he's been with. I think it was his first year as the. Regardless, like, still young in his seniorship. I want to see improvement on the communication across the front on how they deal with stunts, because that killed us on the back end. That's how our defensive line, like, thrived so much. Like, those 4-man stunts, like, just throwing them wildly at offensive lines and confusing them. That's what lost us the game against Philly. I really want to see a better dose of communication on how they deal with that, whether it's sliding protections differently. Just the name of the game is going to be protect Stafford. And apart from talent, you got to have a good scheme up front. Like, if you got guys just guessing half the time, Stafford's going to be hurt by week 6. So, yeah, I really want to see them improve up there coaching wise, to be honest.
I mean, I like it though. I like it, especially if we can bring back all 5, man. I really like this group. I think that Jonah Jackson's one of those weird names that we might see stick around as being like the most expensive backup for no reason. I don't think that we do anything with that. I think we just kind of accept our mistake on giving him a big contract, and he's not one of our top 5, But
it could be that he was still hurt. Like, I know he came off injury, so that you come back too soon because
That's
you
what
are fighting for a position.
That's what I said. And I said that we should go with the better player in Jonah Jackson, and then I got lit up for it. And people were like, you don't know what you're talking about. Go with the hot hand, Bo Limmer. But it's like, hey, we saw Jonah Jackson though play in Detroit. He is a good player, man. So I don't know. It will be interesting to see if like what kind of shakes happen there, because like as we see here too, it's like shakeups can still happen. We could still see Avila at center. I don't think that this is what happens. I think Bo Limmer is our starting center next year. I would be surprised to see anything different happen than that. I do think we have the same 5. I think we see AJ, Steve, Bo, Kevin, and Rob from left to right. I think that's what we see.
I know a lot of people, like, I know Joe can just mention he wants to see Avila at center. You got to figure out, like, what is the best combination, because it's not just about talent; it's about how well do they actually work together on that interior.
Yeah,
like, do they work good with each other's, like, nonverbal communicating as well? Maybe Limmer just is a gem, and at that point, you got to assume, even though Jonah Jackson's getting paid big bucks to be a backup, like, you just pretend that cost is shared between him and Avila and Limmer to protect the interior. Like, it just is what it is.
We did that with Nopum.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's a little frustrating when you look at that. Like, okay, how do you get beat out after getting paid a whole bunch? Maybe there's more to the story. Maybe he is just, injured and it sucked. It's hard to compete. And I'm not worried about Limmer's size. I know he's a little quote unquote undersized. Fucking Jason Kelsey was undersized. He was fine.
So was Donald.
Yeah, like, if you're fast, if you're good, and you're able to keep good leverage, like, something's being a little smaller may work to your advantage. Like, if you can keep up with these fast defensive linemen, just is what it is. Put Jonah Jackson in as a 6th lineman in goal line and just just punch it in every time. Then shit.
I mean, yeah. He's saying here that the Dolphins game, too many substitutions, was a bad thing, and I literally think it was just continuity. That, like, we tried to put him back in a situation where he had not been playing with the line all season, and so he, like, coming in, it was a little bit chaotic, a little bit like, oh crap, hold on. And I think that if we would have just stuck with him, we would have been fine as the season progressed. But I think it was one of those of like, we need to turn it around right now, and Bo Limmer gives us the best chance today to put together some wins. And I think that's just the situation we were in.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I mean, even we do it. Like, we overreact to, like, you see a loss when you could lose by 21, and it probably was only 5 plays that really beat you, like, ultimately.
First game against Philly.
And it's literally just everything else was a toss-up, but then there's 5 deciding factor plays. And then with a thing like that, when you're already dealing with the injury bug, you're dealing with a lot of rookies, your margin of error was already so small. And now a small thing like a miscommunication O-line makes that margin of error magnified. And we figured it out a little bit too late. Like, I think we had an extra few weeks. Like, we would look like I don't say juggernaut, but look like a Super Bowl favorite if we had a few more weeks of consistency.
Dude, it's like there's so many different factors that go into that game against Philly. Because like our first game against Philly is like what you said. It's one of those where the score was not that close, but rewatching that game, it would like you take away Saquon's big explosive runs, and it's like that's like a 4-point game. You know?
I remember I joked about it before. I may have been the reason we lost. I was unfortunately there. I watched it live.
Oh yeah, that's a cool pin. I like that.
Very cool pin. Very cool night. Not a great ending, unfortunately.
Yes, I got my Rams Bills pins and all that stuff are so far the coolest ones I've gotten because it was so sick. But yeah,
my God, such a cool one.
But yeah, then going back and then the game against Philly in the playoffs where I think there's so many different factors. Then you could take 5 or 6 different things and you say if this changes, the Rams win. Yeah, like you take away snow, Rams probably win. You take away the one Saquon run at the end, Rams have more points. We probably win that game. You know what I mean? And like, there's so many different things in that game. You take it was just this one. You take this, take this. But the first game, it was these 3 plays accounted for 21 points. So you take those away, and obviously it's a lot closer. But that just tells you how quick it can take off on you. But we have 2 good examples of those, literally just with the Eagles just this season.
And it does go to show you too. I think that might be my last emphasis. That I definitely agree with McVay when he says the offense needs to be more explosive.
Yeah.
The fact they made it all like a minute away from the NFC Championship game with just relying on Stafford to be smarter than the defense and find a way to pick up first downs and put the team in a position to score, like pretty phenomenal. Like if you watched every minute of every Rams game, it really does emphasize like how much Stafford covered our asses on offense for the lack of explosiveness. Like pretty fucking remarkable.
Oh yeah. It's incredible, man. It's good stuff, man. But we went way over what our normal anticipated time is.
It's because I miss football, Sheriff.
That's too, why. Dude. It's weekend 1 without football, and we're already jonesing. We're already over here scratching our necks and pacing around our houses.
That's why I'm sick. It's because I'm fiending for football.
Yeah, next week we're gonna be in straitjackets and stuff. We'll be coming from a padded room to talk about this. Jesus. It's fine though. It's fine. We'll go back. Does anybody have any games I should go watch? Like I can go back all the way to 2010. I think NFL Plus goes back to. So is there any that I should go peek at?
Oh my God. Go watch Jared Goff's first game. Go watch that one.
Ooh, against the Dolphins.
Yeah, go watch his very first game. I love to see your take on how he's progressed. I still watch him in Detroit. Like he's still ex-Ram. So I'd love to see kind of how he's progressed as a professional from his very first start to him, perennially, is that a word, in the playoffs?
Actually, there's I do talk about the first 7 games of Jared Goff's Rams career in a feature that I'm making right now. You know the name of it. It's not public right now, but I'm working on that. And I talk about that pretty heavy because it ties in real nice. But without giving too much away. Yeah.
I'm excited for that. I guess we'll close out. If I did an interview with Zach Johnson. That was exciting. I know he's not a Rams guy. He's the 49ers. They signed him in December. Dude's a monster. Like watching some of his tape, I kind of wish we needed him on the interior because he's kind of a beast. Like really cool to watch him. Super chill guy, super nice. We chatted for like a half hour or so. So that's on my YouTube. What do you got going on, man?
I'm actually going to be laying down hopefully by next weekend for sure, but hopefully by tonight. I want to have the first episode of my new podcast out and available. Nice. It's called Fanterrogation, and hopefully that'll be out. First episode will be out tonight. But we might.
That's a great name.
I love it, dude. Yeah, Fanterrogation. It's all about obsessions. First episode is me and the Rams. Surprise, surprise.
I like it. I like
That'll
it.
be a fun one. I'll share that on socials for sure. At Sheriff Joe Bags at Ram Showcase is where I'm at everywhere. You'll definitely see it once it's published there.
Hell
Where
yeah.
do we find you, man?
I'm in Los Angeles, so you can find me there.
Just
I
look
am
around.
on, yeah, I'm on like Instagram's mostly my main thing. At first underscore, or is it dot? I think it's dot at first dot and dot tuna. It's something in there. It's something like that.
Hold on. You reacted to something not long ago. I don't know what
it is. Yeah, first dot and dot tuna, because I didn't want it all together because it looks like one stand tuna. It looks weird.
Oh, once.
Yeah.
All right. On that one, thanks for hanging out, everybody. We're getting into the off seasons, the saddest time around, but
Yeah.
you know, there's still plenty of Rams to talk about. Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford.